Hello, my name is Andrew Fake from Mines and Money. Delighted to be joined today by Nicole Brewster, who's the President and Chief Executive Officer of Renforth Resources. Delighted to have you with us today, Nicole.
Great to see you again, Andrew. Look forward to seeing you in person soon.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you in Miami as well. Um, Going back a few months, in December you completed the drill program on the Victoria Mineralized System in Quebec. Could you just give us a bit of an update on that?
Yeah, and in order to do so, I'm going to be a bit presumptuous and share my screen simply because you don't need to look at me this whole time, Andrew. So I'm going to show you. I've got to switch it to PowerPoint. There we go. I'm going to show you what we did in December. We were drilling on our Malartic metals package in Malartic, Quebec, beside Canadian Malartic, specifically on the Victoria multi-metal zone. And I'm just going to flip through these slides. People can get this off my website, but I want to answer your questions. So at the top of this slide, you see the 20-kilometer Victoria multi-metal zone with the little box of the 3D model. So the 3D model is on the bottom of the slide, and that's actually where we were drilling in December. We drilled just over 3,500 meters in 11 holes, and those holes were designed to infill gaps we had in that 2.5 kilometers. Successfully did that. We've proven now geological continuity of the polymetallic mineralized system, which gives us nickel, cobalt, platinum group elements, iron, and chromite, along with the VMS elements of zinc, copper, and silver. We've only seen gold in 3 drill holes, so there's not enough there yet to talk about gold. So that's what we did in December, went very well. We've been waiting on results, and we've been working on modeling and working on drilling down on what we have in this system.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that update, which kind of like leads me on to the second question. Could you tell us about a bit more about the solutions to metal supply that you're doing within an ESG framework?
Yep. Here we've got this again. We see Malartic metals, and you also see our gold deposit. But we're working on the metals package. It's a battery metals package, mineralized in several locations. You see Beaupré's there. Lalonde is the polymetallic battery minerals, which is a lookalike to Victoria, and Fouillac as well. Now, if you keep looking on this map, go to the south, you'll see there's the Rapid 2 and Rapid 7 hydroelectric generating station. And I see there's actually a spelling mistake on this slide. My apologies. In any case, I didn't do it. The power line for the generating station runs right through the center of the property vertically. It runs under the C in Victoria and the D in Lalonde, as does the road. The road is leading out of the town of Cadillac south onto the property, and it goes down to the generating station 7, or it also, you can take a left-hand turn as you're going south, and you can go over to the Canadian Malartic mine. So we've got road access, we've got hydropower. We have, as you can see, no significant bodies of water on the property. The property is uninhabited. The mineralization is at surface. It's the 2.5 kilometers we've really focused on. It's right at surface. We stripped some of it. Then the last little piece in terms of social acceptability or license is next door, Canadian Malartic built a 4-kilometer long, 400-meter deep open pit. We know the community is open to that sort of style of mining. And as well, from the road to the west, we are actually on the treaty land of the Picogan First Nation, which is the Algonquins of the Abitiwimi. I can't say it. Abitiwini. They're up beside Dumont Nickel, which is about an hour to our north. So we are on good terms with the First Nation. So we've checked all the boxes. Of course, it's an evolving situation, but we'll continue to deal with things as good corporate citizens as they arise. So right now, everything's great, and I have no reason to expect that to change.
That's great to hear. You've talked about the melodic metals sort of package a bit, and it's of course that's very, very significant. What drew you to such a large project?
Well, we initially held the sort of top right hand, a wee bit in the top right hand corner of the property. And we had actually joint ventured that to to SOCAM, Quebec government. And there's dikes between that part of the property and Canadian Malartic, and SOCAM wanted to investigate those dikes. They did not come up with any drill targets because there's nothing on surface in that area. So we got the property back. And then I decided I wanted to stake, because all the ground was open, several historic showings of mineralization. That is Lalonde on Victor in the center by the road. Lalonde was discovered as a manganese showing, actually. Victoria was worked beside the road, and it was worked in the eastern end called Colony. Fouillac is also beside the road. There's a similarity to how exploration is done here, and it was polymetallic. And Houston was drilled by Hecla briefly. So I wanted to take all of these occurrences, and I wanted to take, you see it here, the magnetic feature. Colony is off to the right, the white dots to the right. And Victoria, well, they're joined by a pronounced magnetic feature, which we now know shows us the mineralization. So I started staking, and I staked everything because I decided I wanted the magnetic features. And we took some ground for its pegmatite and lithium potential. And while we have lithium, while we have pegmatite, very low lithium numbers, and not our focus, it just got bigger and bigger. But we've really honed in on what's important on this property right now is the Victoria battery metals system, followed by the Lalonde battery metals system, and then the Beaupré copper discovery up in the north. So that's our focus.
Okay, thank you very much for that. On to the next sort of question. Would you say that it's the social acceptance and the ease of access is what sets Renforth around, what sets Renforth apart,
Yes.
or is it like other factors that you have?
No, those two factors plus scale. I mean, the property is significant. The property is mineralized, and we've only really drilled down on 2.5 kilometers of a 20-kilometer structure. We've worked elsewhere. We know the mineralization is continuous. The geophysics and the electromagnetics and the surface sampling and historic work all support that. So we have every expectation that with an appropriate amount of work, we'll continue to grow this property. Our deepest pierce point's at 225 meters, so we're working very shallow as well right now. But what we see is an ultramafic, which has a interplay with a VMS intrusive. And the contact zones between the two are where we get our higher grade material. And the good news is there's at least three repetitions of the VMS within the ultramafic, which exponentially increases the contact zone material. So we're actually quite excited about where this may take us as we have the opportunity to do some more work. So scale, yes, scale is a big deal and sets us apart. But you're right, location, location, location. We're in a very established mining district. We have all the important mining companies in Canada are shown on this map if you know the property names. And then more and quite excitingly to the north, Dumont Nickel was recently the subject of an announcement that they're now looking to make a production decision in 2025, as well as build a heap leach processing facility somewhere in the Abitibi, which is a very interesting way of processing the material and an avenue we're exploring, because it's a heap leach, so it's biologically it's very ESG sensitive, and it results in battery chemistry as opposed to rock or metal. It's an option for us because our mineralization at Victoria looks a lot like what they're mining at Talvivaara in Terrafame in Finland. We have an Outokumpu style mineralization, which is largely only in Finland, only in a handful of places outside of Finland, one of them being the Malartic Metals package. But they're processing with a biologically active heap leach in Finland. And we've started discussions to see if we can implement their technology. And then Dumont announced the same thing. So we're all thinking similarly, ESG responsibly, and it'll be exciting to see what Dumont does.
Yeah. You passionately believe that the price of metals must be on the rise. What would your advice to investors in this space be?
Yeah, I mean, metals prices are cyclical, meaning that they're linked to demand. And I mean, gold is almost disconnected from the commodity altogether. So I tell investors with regard to gold to not, you know, not follow the ups and downs of gold. We're not going to talk about where's the gold price going or the manipulation of gold or what's going on there. Gold is inherent value. That's fine. The battery metals, the industrial metals, I mean, zinc, we have a fair amount of zinc in this system. Zinc was destroyed as a commodity, and it's only produced as a byproduct. And there's a definite need. The need for zinc is linked to stainless steel demand, which is linked to China's development. But let's not forget India is also coming along behind them. And then you've got infrastructure rebuilding or building out to meet the energy transformation that's going on. So you got to be aware of the macro. The metal prices do trade as trading vehicles, as financial instruments in and of themselves, but the demand for the metals is very real. And the demand for metals for energy transformation is going to be significant. For example, an EV uses, I believe it's 4, if not 5 times more copper than a conventional vehicle. We can go down the rabbit hole. Is everyone going to drive an EV today? No, they're not. But we're not going to build a mine today either. So we have runway ahead of us to work towards making a decision to mine. But during that runway, the world is switching to storing energy. The world is growing, population is growing, and they want all the things we have or, they need. For example, energy grids everywhere are not going to be able to sustain the changes the energy transformation will bring. We need to build out solar capacity, heavy use of silver. Like every metal, every industrial metal, pull up the critical minerals list that governments publish. They're all impacted. And I liken what's coming to the equivalent to our, in your country, the Victorian era ushered in a wealth of change in Great Britain. And we're having our own industrial revolution here right now as we speak. So it's slow and it's hard to see when you're in the middle of it, but our world is changing drastically and we need metal for all of it. And I'm absolutely comfortable. And I'm also comfortable, Andrew, because our mineralization is on surface. We have roads, we have rail, we have power. We have very cheap operating expenses now, which will only continue to be cheap in the future. Security of ownership. So, we're just incredibly well positioned and there's a coming storm for metals demand. So I'm quite positive, as you might be able to tell.
Yeah, I think it's it's sort of like you said, there's always ups and downs, but I think the future is very, very bright. We're in an energy transition. We need to have more metals that you and the team from Renforth Resources are exploring for and mining. We do really wish you all the best at our Miami show next week and look forward to seeing you at future events. And we definitely invite the listeners of this to go and check out your company. Thank you very much for your time today, Nicole. And once again, would just like to go and thank Nicole Brewster, President and Chief Executive Officer of Renforth Resources. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and everyone else. Have a great day.
Part of the solution to the problems that we're facing in the global climate, and therefore conferences like these need to bring together people for collaboration, because that's where really exciting, innovative things are being done in our space.
What is done here with the global mining industry is going to be a key factor in our ability to drive the energy transition at the pace that's necessary to avert crisis in our climate system.
There are some major companies from around the world that are here, and I've had a chance to meet with them today and will continue. Some of the biggest players in the world that are already investing in the Yukon.
coming together at an event like this really allows to maintain that conversation and facing some of those challenges together as an industry, as an ecosystem.
Then when it comes to AI and leveraging these technologies, we don't think that AI is an area where we should be driving competitive advantage. We think that this is an area where we should be much more focused on collaboration.
We're really beginning our work in terms of rethinking the way that we invest into the mining sector, and the opportunity just to hear the breadth of views to help shape our thinking is really important.
The young people that are here at this conference, thanks to the organizers, they are going to be the voice of conscience for us, to help us see the kind of industry that we need to build. It doesn't happen very often, so I'm really looking forward to that intergenerational conversation.